Hey guys, it's Alex Haney here, and it's Tuesday, which means it's time for another backcountry video with me. And since you guys all seem to love my cooking videos, I figured I'd do another one for you guys because I just discovered this amazing new breakfast that I really like. I have to give partial credit to these guys I ran into out in Jasper. I was hiking the North Boundary Trail, which is a 200-kilometer trail, very, very isolated, and the only people I ran into the entire time were this group of guys who live a couple blocks from me. It was crazy. Anyway, we ended up sharing a campsite one night, and in the morning they had too much of their breakfast, so they shared it with me, and it was a buckwheat breakfast, which I'd never really tried buckwheat before. At least I'd never cooked it myself before. So when I got home, I decided to look up a recipe, and I found a really good one that I tried out on a recent canoe trip. I'll link it down below. It's by Deliciously Ella, but I'm just going to show you guys how I did it, as well as give some notes about making it in the backcountry. So first I'm just going to get a fire started in this firebox stick stove, and then I'll show you how to make it. Okay, so I've got a bit of heat now. I'm just bringing 1/2 cup of water to a boil. I'm making enough just for myself today, so you'll have to multiply things in order to get the amount that you want. Basically what you'll need is some water, some cinnamon, a banana or more than one banana, it's more than one person, some honey, some almond butter, of course your buckwheat, and optional, you can bring almond milk. And definitely I wouldn't bring this if I was backpacking, and I wouldn't carry it for too long on a canoe trip or anything like that. But they do sell little packages of this, and you know, I would carry it for maybe my first breakfast. It just gives a nice extra bit of flavor. If you want to, instead of bringing banana, just slice this up and dehydrate it. Don't use banana chips because it won't give the same effect. So all this stuff you'll have to put in its own little separate containers, like a Nalgene or something like that, because you only need a tiny amount. And for the spices, what I like to do is I bought these little plastic packages from a craft store. I think they're for beads or something, for organizing beads. They just come in little tiny sizes, and they're like Ziplocs. And usually what I do is I mix up whatever spices for any meal I'm making, and I put it all in that one bag, and then just package it with the meal that I'm going to be cooking. Oh yeah, you'll also need a measuring cup of some type. Okay, so once your water is boiling, you're going to put in a 1/2 cup of the buckwheat. This is just toasted buckwheat that I'm using, that I really like the flavor of that. So then you're just going to put that back over the heat and let that cook for a couple of minutes. Okay, so once that water is almost, you know, it's like on the edge of absorbing, you're going to add your honey. For just myself, I'm using a teaspoon of honey, but for 2 people it calls for a tablespoon, so multiply as you wish. I'm also using 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. I'm going to add in my almond milk now because it's absorbing pretty quick. So either add in a 1/2 cup of the almond milk, or if you're just using water, then just add another 1/2 cup water. And you're going to add in your banana as well. Okay, so basically all you're doing at this point is just letting it cook, letting all of the liquid get absorbed by your buckwheat. So this could take a while. It could take, you know, 15-20 minutes. Your bananas will also be kind of disintegrating and getting mushy and cooking into it all, which is awesome. That's why I suggested not using banana chips, because they won't do that, I don't think. I mean, you could try it. Maybe you like a little bit of crunch in it, and then it could be good. When you dehydrate your own bananas, they don't get like banana chips. They get kind of mushy, kind of like a fruit leather. So make sure you keep stirring through this whole process so it doesn't burn, especially if you're using a thin metal like I am. I'm using a titanium cup. Basically, as this almond milk or water or whatever you're using gets absorbed, you're going to be adding in up to another 1/2 cup of liquid, just so it doesn't ever cook dry in your cup. Okay, I'll show you what it looks like here. Hopefully you can see that and it's not getting fogged up by the smoke. But you can see that the bananas are getting all mushy and disintegrated, and the buckwheat is cooking up nicely. And actually I made a little bit of an error. It wasn't half teaspoon of cinnamon, it was a full teaspoon. So basically you're just going to keep letting that simmer and absorb a lot of the liquid until it's cooked, but still like kind of a porridgey consistency. I don't know if you can see that in there, but this is kind of the way I like it. Kind of goopy and creamy. That's delicious. And then once you get to that point, you can go ahead and add your almond butter. So I'm gonna put in about a teaspoon of almond butter, or you could use whatever butter you want, really. If you're allergic to nuts, I've heard good things about sun butter. And just stir that in there. This just adds a nice bit of fat and protein to this meal, and I'm super excited to share this meal with you guys because it's so healthful and it's so filling. It's really, really good for, you know, a morning when you have a really hard day ahead. It'll just fill you right up and keep you going for a long time. Okay, and here's the finished product. It looks like, you know, every other kind of porridge out there, but has a really different kind of flavor to it. The cinnamon and almond in it, I'm a huge fan of. If you can, find the little containers of almond breeze or whatever to bring with you. Anyway, give this a try. Let me know how you guys like it. Buckwheat does definitely have a very distinctive flavor to it. I also want to give a shout out to those guys I ran into on the North Boundary Trail for turning me on to buckwheat and giving me the idea to look up this recipe. I did tell them about my YouTube, so maybe they're watching. If so, thanks. Yeah, like I said, leave a comment below if you try this out, or if you have any suggestions for variations. That would be cool. I'm always open to that. And I'll see you guys again next week. Bye.